Hello. Hello everyone. How's everyone doing today? I think we are just waiting on NRT Bobby. He made his debut last week. It was a solid one. Performance-wise though, people to watch out for today, from what I've heard, let's see if he's actually gone out on track. Does he actually have a lap in? No. From what I've heard, and this could just be rumours, it may not be true, it's Ruben, so you never really know. He could pull something out, but from what I've heard, Ruben's not actually the quickest on track. Which could mean this could be a good round for Devil to try and get some points back. Excuse me. So it could be a good round for Devil to gain some points back. There's not many rounds to go. There's a pretty solid lead. We discussed it yesterday. There is a pretty massive lead between Ruben and Devil. Something like 20-something points. And 20 points is massive. That's over a round. So there's that. Philo last week was quick. We haven't seen him in the we haven't seen Philo in the work. We haven't seen much of Philo. It could literally have just been last round where he was strong, or it could have been a genuine all-around performance. We don't know. We won't find out until we do and we start. He's not gone out yet. He's racing for the Shadime. Never said Supra's bad in the wet. We've had a few. The past two rounds have been chaotic, but now yes, this div one, right? It's top flight now. This is hopefully going to be a better one. Hopefully, going to be more consistent. Hopefully, I'm going to be a better commentator. I'll admit the last two races have been a bit poor. But anyway. So far then, Brian, what now, how would you guys react if this guy put it on pole? He's currently running fastest as he comes through Lake Com and almost bins it. Part of me believes that this is the round where Ruben gets dethroned. He's on a 10 race win streak. He's undefeated in 10 races. There's a 100% win rate here. And for one round, no, this is the round he won his first race. Is his 10 round, or is his 10 race win streak going to come to an end? He's one of two drivers, I believe, to have a 100% win record here in GTEL, and one of them only did one race. Actually, people like Lucas, but yeah. See, Noffel Honky's filling in over at Can-Am. But we are just about ready to go, so. Tricky conditions, Vassman, extremely tricky conditions. People have been struggling all week. But anyway, race weekend. Round 6 of the GTEL Division 1 Championship, qualifying from Spa-Francorchamps. The sun's setting down here in Belgium. The track's wet. We're ready to go. The drivers are ready. As everyone pulls out the pits, hopefully they're getting out nicely. See the two SVVs. Vasilinkok's... I don't think Vasilinkok's scored points yet. He says he's not ready for this. Well, there's Dynarod exiting the pit lane. I think that's Ruben up ahead leaving, and it's just going to be Tim. We aren't going to be seeing any funky strategies. Tim filled in yesterday, so did Casey. Definitely a bit of practice. Now, Tim's strategy, Tim's qualifying's not the best. How will Tim actually do when the strategy's a bit different? Because he would normally do his first stint on mediums and then do 2 stints on the softs, and then he would really gain through, but it's going to be wet till the end, and it's just Tim and DJ in the pits. Maybe they're waiting for a bit, but anyway, who is up at the front of this train? Devil, I think. Around there, roundabouts. It's JD. And it's DJ and Tim still in the pits. That's DJ leaving, and Tim, is he just going to be waiting? You'd be a bit... There we go, he's finally got going. I was going to say, you'd be a bit insane to not go for anything, as you may only get about 1 lap in here now. Brian in the Porsche drifting all the way through, pull on down towards the Fania chicane. JD leads from out. Now, what a result it would be if JD could win this one. Brand new house for him. He's going to be looking to put a mark down. Brian as well, he sees a good opportunity. He actually gets past JD. Brian does like to be one of the first out, does like to lead, does like the clean air ahead of him. Not for honk. Probably going to let Devil pass there. You don't really want much traffic on your lap. That's Philo with a half-second slowdown penalty. He'll get rid of that before his lap starts. And now, especially in conditions like this, as they run down towards Blanchemont, you would expect them, as Devil's going to try to go around the outside at Blanchemont, but they're going to slow down and give each other a bit of space here. You really don't want to be bunched up together, because if one person makes mistakes over top of a Radion, that could cause a good 3-car pile-up like we saw in Div 3. But anyway, through the bus stop chicane, JD will be the first to start his lap. He may not necessarily be the first to finish it. Not honking his all-black Ferrari. He's normally got a funky livery for us, hasn't this week. It's a bit of a shame. I do look forward to seeing his liveries. Vasilinkok, I think he's got a bit more of a setup on for the Audi, so he's a bit more comfortable in it. And let's see if that will make any difference. SVV, Ento and Ruben coming through the bus stop. I think that was Dynarod just behind him. Oppo Rouge over the top at Radion Van. JD, nice and clean for that. You don't want to taking as much curbing as possible. It's easy to get yourself a penalty through there. Brian's going to have a bit of tow from Devil ahead. He might reap the benefit of that. You don't want to be too close to the back of the slipstream where you end up having to risk an overtake. But that sort of distance is solid, not for honk. He's got some clean air. That Ferrari, I wouldn't expect it to be that good. He's actually had some solid results on a car, but really shouldn't be in the points. But he's managing it. Casey, he's still yet to score points in Div 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up down in Div 2 next season. It would be sad to see him fall down there. Vasilinkok, he's coming through. Ruben in the Mitsubishi is actually going to have to bail on this lap as he completely cuts the chicane. Now, did he slow down enough? Because that might actually give him a penalty if he doesn't. Yes, 2-second slowdown penalty. He'll just take that. He'll get rid of that just before he heads down to Rivage. And it's a 3-second penalty for Ento as well. Oh, sorry, a 3/10 penalty. You've got half-second was that also picked up at Lecom. Through Stavlo 1, JD's got a nice bit of clean air ahead with a nice gap to Devil as well, and Brian's keeping in touch with Devil as well. In these conditions, you don't want to be caught in some dirt here, you want as much grip as possible, and how's that for a view? Through Puan, we've seen some pretty nice moves for his. Big step of oversteer for Brian as he holds on nicely. Noffel Honk, Philo, There's Casey coming through, getting onto the curb nicely. He actually pushes the limits quite well, so hopefully he's actually carrying some good speed. That'll gain him a good few tenths. Normally you'd be wanting to avoid the curves and the AstroTurf, especially around Spa. Even with a driver deadly for spinning off, especially down here at Stavlo too. But he holds on to it nicely. JD, has he had a spin? Yes, JD's got some damage as he's fallen down. Like I said, he was the first to start his lap, may not be the first to finish it. Down towards the bus stop then, final 2 turns, and Devil, the Season 1 champion, will be setting the benchmark lap time. Through he comes then. Nice. Brian keeps it stable as well. Devil, what's the benchmark lap time? I'd say, what, 2:44.1 or 2:45.7 for Brian. JD's going to have to go straight to pits and he's going to have a quick outlap for once to get time. And Nofonke, 2:49. Philo, 2:47. Mr. Osaka, 2:46.3. Vaslincock provisional pole by 4 milliseconds, at 2:44.1. So maybe that setup he's got on has done him some benefits. Donald's going to have a nice toe from end up towards the line. What's going to be for him? It's a good few seconds off the pace. Ruben, Donald sets 2:45.9, so he's just ahead of Ento, and it's straight into the pits goes Vaslincock. Don't quite understand why. The tyres can go for a long way. And Ruben, you can see him now, all the way up to Blanchimont, just burning as much fuel as possible and trying to save his tyres, as he'll go and attempt another lap. As you probably saw, he did have that mistake down at Lake Com. Tim's coming up to the back of Ruben. Ruben might have to be aware of him. DJ goes provisional pole way 2:43.3. So Ruben yet to set a lap. Tim's coming through the bus stop now to set his lap, and JD, he's yet to set a lap. But Ruben a 3:38, yeah, but that's because of the mistake he had bailed out of lap. Tim up towards the line, he goes 9th with a 2:47. DJ provisional pole then, but how's this? I don't believe Vaslincock has scored a point this season. I'll go and check. Casey's also in 4th, Dynarod 6th, Brian 5th. There was some notable efforts. Ento 2nd last week. He's down. No, Ento wasn't. No, Ento was 4th last week. He's now down in 7th. If we look at the standings, no, Vaslincock has 2 points. He scored 2 points. They must have been early on, but this man struggled most of the season. Now he's putting it he's putting it provisional 2nd. Devil's coming through Blanchimont now towards the bus stop. He's only 4 milliseconds behind his teammate. Devil's yet to be. He's been out-qualified by a teammate. Hayden last season here out-qualified him, but this season is yet to be out-qualified or beaten by his teammate. Up towards the line. Devil looking good, especially on the exit. They're up towards the line. I think this is going to be provisional pole. He does go provisional pole by nearly 4 tenths. Brian, he goes into 4th with a 2:44.9. Casey, he's had a nice cool down lap, so he would have burnt some fuel. Philo, he stays outside the top 5. Mr. Osaka goes into 6th with a 2:45.6. Casey, as he starts his final lap, slow out the bus stop. He tried to have a nice out lap, but that's really not done him any, or a cool down lap, that's not done him any good. Dino, is he going to improve? He does, he goes 5th. A 2:44.9. 4 milliseconds off a 2:45 flat, as he will start his final lap. Philo 9th, he was 2nd last week. He was looking like the closest person to Ruben. Now he's not. Purple for Ruben as he comes through Blanchimont. Then how's this going to be? He will have another lap in it as well, so maybe that mistake's actually been quite beneficial as he's been able to burn more fuel. DJ, he stays 2nd but improves with a 2:43.1. Clabbering over the curbs, then up towards the line. Ruben, I think it's going to be provisional pole, drifting out the final turn, but up towards the line. What's it going to be? Provisional pole by 8 tenths on a 2:42 flap. There's still another lap to go up towards Pouon. Devil. Ruben does have the lightest car fuel-wise. He's burnt most of his fuel out. Vaslincock That will be his qualifying done. Yep, as he makes a mistake down at Lake Commons, he'll fall back. But for top 8 as it stands, Ruben, as he's coming through Eau Rouge. Devil, typical scenes. We thought Ruben might be a bit further back, but no, qualifying Ruben does a Ruben. But with these conditions, they are unpredictable. We've seen Ruben make a mistake down at Lake Com on the exit of the Fania chicane. Devil a bit shaky there. DJ's third, Vaslincock fourth. The best deal finish is fourth, and it's looking like this will be his best qualifying of the season. He's got 8th temps back to Brian, who's having a solid qualifying as well. Dono's having a good qualifying session, and so is Casey and Mr. Osaka. Ento outside the points. He's gonna be hoping he can do a bit more to benefit his team, especially if it's like this. For once, it will be advantage as Devil goes wide. It'll be advantage NDC. Expect them to get a penalty there. If Ento qualifies outside the top 8 and Vaslincock's 4th, there'll be a nice bit of benefit. He'll have a teammate there. He'll have someone to help him. There'll be a bit of benefit there for Devil. I don't think he's going to be improving on this lap, as he won't. JD, he's outside the top 8, but he still improves. Brian up towards the line. He improves, but the best he'll finish is 6th. I think this is Philo coming up towards the line. Yes, Philo up towards the line. Will he improve it? He does, and he goes 5th. Mr. Osaka, he improves into 8th. Noffelhonk, will he improve? I think he will, but where will it put him? Up towards the line. He stays 13th, so last. Casey, he improves. Where's that put Casey? Casey's 4th! Dynarod, he stays 8th. Casey, though, what a lap by him. He qualified 3rd in Bathurst, I think. 4th here at Suzuka. If he can keep... Sorry, 4th here at Spa as Ento knocks him down to 5th. Ento... He responds with a 2:43.8. Who's still on a lap? Ruben. What's he doing? Look at the gap he's got. Up towards the line then comes Ruben. This is going to be an absolutely electrifying lap. It's pole for Ruben, but what's the time? It's a wall. It's a 2:41.2. Ruben's on pole by 1.6 seconds. Just as we thought it wouldn't. What a qualifying session. How about that then? Tim, he improves, but he will stay 11th. Ruben on pole then. For the 5th time this season. Devil 2nd. Good qualifying by DJ. Ento where you would expect him to be, but Casey, not the best of seasons, and if he can keep his nose out of it, the strategy should be pretty simple. If you can make the one-stop work, and if you can get his fuel down to 30 minutes, you really should be able to, if you can fuel save nicely. There's a podium on the card here, there's points on the card, but what about Vaslincock? He struggled all season. He's managed to scrape 2 lucky points, I must say. Puts it 6th. Brian 7th, but how's this? Donrod's outside the... How many people that have scored podiums are outside the top 8? Here's the grid down for round 6 of the GTEL Division 1 Championship. Ruben on pole, followed by Devil for the quintillionth time this season. DJ and Ento makes an all-German row 2. Casey and Vaslincock the shocker on row 3, and then Brian and Philo on row 4. Let's ride on board with Philo. And we are racing then at Spa as we run down towards turn 1. It'd be nice to see who's got a good start. That's a solid start by one of the... That's Mr. Osaka who's got a good start in the background. Devil as well as he tries to go on the outside. There's a bit of contact. Vaslincock's got himself up to 3rd. Brown's going to try to go down the inside. Dano's Noffelhonk's going wide as he started 13th. JD's at a shocking start. Ruben's struggling for grip on exit. Brian's got himself up 2nd, and him and Ento are going to go side by side on Peruge. DJ trying to get himself up into this as well. Side by side on Peruge. Neither's going to back out, and Brian with the move of the season so far. And he keeps it on track. Well, that's Devil going wide as well. Tim has fallen down to the back. Casey and Devil, I think they're getting shaky. Casey gets onto the grass there. We almost seen a Bottas-Russell moment. Tucked into the back of Ento there is DJs. The Germans pile down towards turn 1. Casey As he outbraked himself, they're going to go 3 wide in towards Lake Com, and Casey's going to get himself up to 4th, and that's Vasilinkov going sideways after a broken qualifying, and Philo's round as well. Tim almost gets caught with collateral damage, and it's chaos here at lap 1. It's absolute chaos. DJ's then forced off track. How's he going to rejoin? Mr. Osaka's through. He just about gets himself ahead of Noffahonk. What a start. 2 seconds is the gap then between Ruben and Brian. Brian in 2nd, Ento. He's in 3rd, and Casey's only half second back on Ento. As this group fully battle for 2nd. Devil further back. As it's a German 5th, 6th, 7th. JD's made his way up from 11th. I think he started into 7th. Dynarod as well got himself into the points, so they come through P1 for the first time this race. Dynarod, Philo trying to move down the outside, and Tim's already got himself into the points. That's JD going off wide at P1. We could be seeing a mistake from him. He rejoins nicely. DJ's down to 12th, and Vasilinkov swell down to the backs. Got a feel for Vasilinkov. What a qualifying by him. Down to 13th. Well, that is really unfortunate, I must say. Vasilinkov could have brought in start, but Casey, I have to say, Casey was on the inside line. He really did send it. I don't want to say that's Casey's fault, because I don't think we can't say until we get a good look at it. But it was a late launch by Casey. Someone had to yield. Brian side by side with Ventor Peau Rouge. What a move by him. Casey 3 wide into Les Com. What a hectic first lap as that's Deviloff as well at Blanchemont. That might be a penalty as Casey's eyeing up a move on to Ento as I come down towards the bus stop. As there is a penalty for Devil. Mr. Osaka, as everyone's now piling through the bus stop. Single file, no one's looking for a move. Tim's got himself up into 8th after falling down to 13th at the start. He's going to make a move as well, getting 7th as Philo has been caught sleeping as JD's round. JD is round at the back on the exit of the bus stop. What happened there? Vasilinkov as well, as he's drifting through the final turn. JD's now going to fall down to the back of the road. So at the end of lap 1 then, Ruben leads from Brian, Ento, Casey, that's Mr. Osaka going wide on exit. Devil's got a penalty as they come up Eau Rouge. Casey's still going to want to be keeping in touch with this. Casey now needs to get himself into this mindset. He gets into this place as only then balls it. That's JD instantly leaving. As they run down towards Les Com for the 2nd time this race. Casey's close to the back. This is where he made the move last time from 7th. He's close. He's going to look for a late move. No, he's going to hold on to it. Devil's also coming into this as well. Philo's got himself back up into 7th. Mr. Osaka, he's drifting through. Now though, like I was saying, someone needs to tell Casey there's an hour on this race. Just keep yourself, get your head down and do what you can do. Brian's not far up the road either, and I think Brian may just be banking on a mistake from Ruben. It's a rare mistake, but we've seen him make mistakes, and Casey, he might fancy doing a bit of fuel saving here in the back of Ento, and then maybe that could allow him to jump Brian as well. Do the Ruben strategy. Don't think about the move now, as he's a bit wide in the dirty air through P1. Just keep a solid line, put in consistent laps, and just do the Ruben strategy. Use Ruben's teammate to help you fuel save a bit. I mean, the lower fuel modes as well allow you to have more grip as you're putting less power through, so you're less likely to start off and make mistakes. So, through places like P1 and just the middle sector in general, putting it in 2nd or 3rd isn't a bad idea. You're not losing much time in the straight line. You've got the slipstream there for the mini straights in there, but you save your tyres, as Devil's not far back, as he might fancy himself a move. If you want to go for the move, it also allows you to save your tyres. But overall, we've seen this be massive when it comes to strategy and winning races. The more fuel you have going into the pit stop allows you to take less fuel, which means you're gaining time as we come down towards the bus stop. As everyone, this battle for 2nd, very close. Maybe Ruben should slow down. Now, wouldn't it be funny if Ruben had a disconnect? I don't want to curse him, but we've seen it before. 3 seconds faster than Brian last lap though. Ruben absolutely flying, and Casey, he just sat into the back of Ento. Now, being this close though, might be bad as it can allow you to make mistakes as Philo's trying to go down the inside of DJ's. DJ tries to find a bit of a switchback. There's a bit of contact. That's Tim going off into the background. Dano's falling down to 10th as well. DJ is going to get a bit of a slight toe from his teammate Mr. Osaka as they run down towards Eau Rouge. Is Philo going to try and fight back in that Nissan? I don't think we will. Down towards Les Combes, Casey, he's fallen off a bit. Maybe for Eau Rouge being that close, he had to lift off a bit. And just have a bit of a... not push it too much. Casey needs to keep in mind, this is his biggest problem. He'll get himself in a place where he can fight for a podium. And he thinks he has to get into that podium now. Running in third at the end of lap 1 is not going to get you third. Running in third at the checkered flag is what gets you third. There's a 60-minute race, not a one-lap race, and that's what Casey's down for, especially all last season, was. JD says his Wi-Fi killed his race. That is unfortunate. Deville's not far behind of a battle for 6 as well. We're seeing some nice battles here. No one's liking the rain, but who doesn't love a good battle at the rain at Spa? Tim and Dino not far back either, only 3 seconds off. There's Honk. And then Vaslincock. He's 26 seconds off the lead, but we've seen him qualifying, he's got the pace. Maybe he can help. Maybe he could still salvage points here, and what a performance it would be if he could salvage points. Ruben a 7-second lead. Oh, is he just about holds on to it through Stavlo 1. And maybe this race will show that Ruben's not quite as invincible as we first expected. Or as we first believed. There are mistakes in there. Devil, he's flying as well. He's latching himself onto the back of this group. He's within slipstream range of Casey ahead. And a 4-way battle for second. And then also down into 6th, there's a 3-way battle as Philo's bridging a bit of a gap between Mr. Osaka and DJ, the two Motorsport West teammates, as they come through Blanchemont down towards the bus stop. Then as well, Dino, there could be a battle for 9th heating up soon as well, and Vaslincock and Nothong as well could find themselves catching up. Down towards turn 1, down towards La Source then. Brian, is he going to be under pressure from Ento? Is Ento going to look for a move? Is Ento going to pull out late? Last second, no. Casey, Devil, neither of them close either, but last lap then, as Casey seems to have a better exit, but he seems to just lift off a bit and just sitting behind Ento. It's not a bad strategy. Something we've seen as DJ is going for a move down the inside at La Source, and then Mr. Osaka, he's fallen down. He's lost 2 places there, but he almost fancied himself getting up. And if these 3 start battling, Tim, Dana, or Vaslincock, Nothong, they could all fancy themselves trying to be in the battle for the minor points paying positions. Casey very close onto the back of Ento. Is he going to go for the move? Then Ento's going to defend the inside line. He moves across, but not quite side by side. They will be by the turn. Late on the brakes, there's Casey. He's going to be able to keep it on the track. He's got to go the long way round. This might invite Devil. Devil's got a bit deeper around the outside of Les Combes. Casey! Is he going to be able to hold on as they come through the exit of Les Combes? Devil, he's got the inside line trying to find a move, but he's going to do it. He's going to stick it around the outside. Casey! You utter madman! Ruben's still ahead as they come down towards Ravage. Is Casey going to have to yield? He's going to be on the wetter line. He might find himself under pressure from Devil as well in the other Toyota. But Casey will hold on for now. And Casey almost pulled off one of the moves of the season. As Devil finds himself running a bit wide. That might also be a half-second penalty coming the Germans' way. But this is a bit of a sigh of relief then by Brian, for Brian. As he'll just have a bit of a gap further back. As that's a mistake by Ento. Was there contact as Ento's gone wide? Let's have a quick look to it in a minute. Ento as they come down towards the Fania chicane. Him and Devil side by side. Devil round the outside at the Fania chicane. He's going to the inside line for the second turn. And he will get that move done. Or will he? Down towards Stavlo. Is Ento going to try and fight back? No, he won't. So let's have a look. What happened between Ento and Casey? Was there contact? No, Ento just... Let's have a look again. I don't think there was contact. I think Ento... No, Ento got himself onto the curb and just got all sorts of bent out of shape, and Casey then into third. As everything starts to calm down now, Devil's gone down to 6th. Devil's got engine damage! What's happened here? Devil's picked himself up some damage. Has he gone off at Stavlo? Did he go off at Stavlo? What happened? I mean, we saw just before going to the replay, Devil and Ento going side by side. Devil's going to keep going! Devil's going to keep going with engine damage, and he's gone off again. Devil's got engine damage, and he's still continuing to race. The Season 1 champion may just find himself throwing away the championship here. This is going to be a big knock, as he's fallen down to 8th. The Season 1 champion hasn't pitted with engine damage. Now as we run down towards Eau Rouge and Les Combes, down the Camel Straight, it's going to fall right down to the back. So look at Dino and Tim, they're going to be catching right up. It's like an LMP1 car lapping a GTE car. Dino's going to have to just lose a bit of time here as they go through Eau Rouge. And why hasn't Devil pitted? I know you lose a lot of time in the pits, but this is no solution. Tim's going to get himself past Devil as well. Nothonk, he might find himself as well passing Devil. I don't know why he didn't go for pit entry. Vasselin-Koch as well is going to go side by side down towards Les Combes as he gets himself up into 10th. I'm a bit confused. I honestly don't know why. Just before going to the replay, we saw him and Ento. Ento tried going down his inside, down at Stavlo 1, and then the next thing on the exit of Stavlo 2, he's in the wall. So maybe there was a bit of contact between Ento and Ruben down towards Stavlo 2, or down going into Stavlo. There was a bit of contact, and there's not much runoff there, and let's put Devil into the wall. Well, this might just be, if any of you watch MotoGP, this might just be like MotoGP, the GP of France earlier today, especially if you watch Moto3, one crash after another. Ento's back into 4th, Philo's into 5th as he's starting to pull away from DJ behind, and Dino's now by himself into points, but Tim's not gonna really let him get away with this easily. And look, Vasselin-Koch and Nothonk aren't far behind him. We've seen Vasselin-Koch in qualifying, putting it on 5th, has the pace, or 6th, sorry, has the pace. But right now, though, if any of you said Casey and Brian would be on the podium, or in P2 and 3 at any point in the race, not necessarily finishing there, as there's 46 minutes to go, anything can happen. We've seen Devil go. And has Devil's still not pitted? Now in the way you're not going to lose as much time, and maybe that's his thinking, but he's now 45 seconds off. He's lost 30 seconds this lap. Now this really isn't a strategy, and into the pits then comes Devil. Engine damage for better grip. And I must say, looking at Casey and Brian, especially out of the slow speed stuff, Casey just seems to have a lot more confidence, a lot more grip in that car. He seems to have it a lot more controlled. And that might be because he did the race yesterday. He knows the conditions a bit better. I know they've had a week to practice, but it seems like he just knows the track a bit better. He's a bit more confident. Who knows? Him and Brian, though, quite nice, and so is Ento. In these conditions, seeing them, especially coming for a turn like No Name, downhill braking, with the curb and the AstroTurf there as well, extremely easy to lose it. Seeing cars fully maximise the track limits and keep the car straight is a really impressive thing. Through the Fagnes chicane. Ruben, 14 seconds is the gap. Now he doesn't have anyone ahead of him to do any fuel saving. behind Entos. There's a bit of a mistake as Brian's going slowly. As Casey's now right to the back of him as they come through Stavlo 2. Brian all sorts of sideways there. As Brian just about holds on and down towards Blanchemont. Casey's going to fancy himself going into second. He's going to have the inside line through the little kink there. 2 more kinks to go over both left-handers, and Brian will be ahead. And I don't think Casey's going to be stupid enough to try and go side by side through here. As I come through Blanchemont. Is he going to be close enough? Is he going to have the straight line speed to get close enough and go for a move down towards the bus stop? This is inviting Ento further back as well, as Ento's closed the gap by 2 seconds. That's Devil gone. So Devil guaranteed scoring no points this race then. Down towards the source though, Casey's got a solid run into the slipstream. He won't be close enough though. This promotes DJ into 5th, and Philo, has he picked up damage? Philo he's picked up rear right damage. That's not much, there's not really a problem, and this will put him to the back of the grid. The amount of time you lose in the pit lane here at Spa, it's a good 40 seconds without any servicing apparently. Casey looking a bit slow now as they come up over the top of Radion. Ento's got a nice run on them, especially in the slipstream. He's going to be closing in the back up of Casey. Is Ento going to try and fancy move down into Lake Com? Casey defends the inside line. He's going to move across. He's going to try and do what? Is Ento going to try and do what he did to him? Ento breaks really late. Is he going to be able to get the car slowed down in time? Just about. Well, that's a nice move there by Ento. Didn't think he'd be able to hold on, I must say. But that's Casey down to 4th, and Brian chasing his 2nd podium in GTEL. He's got one at Le Mans. He's going to get one at Spa in the web. Motorsport West running 5th and 6th as well. That's no mean feat. Donald's only 3 seconds off the back of them. Vaslincock 4 seconds off the back of Tim. He's also got a bit more fuel than Tim. I think Tim's got damage, so Tim's also picked up damage. So maybe did him and Philo have a coming together? Front bumper and front right damage. That's gonna impact his grip. That's gonna slow him down in a straight line, and Vaslincock might be looking to score some points. And if he can snatch 1 point after what happened down on lap 1, that would be really impressive. But any of these 3 drivers can end up on the podium here. And Ruben knows his gap. I mean, I don't think Ruben's going to be dumb enough to put it into the barrier. But if Ruben was to put it in the barrier, outbrake himself, have a moment like that, it doesn't take much to give these cars some engine damage. If he put it into the barrier, remember it's a night race as well, the sun's setting, the track is not that warm, you're really struggling for grip, it's wet, and it's a cold track. It is an absolute pain. Ruben, and he's pulling away, he's setting consistently good laps. If he puts it in the wall, engine damage, that's his race done near enough. But I would actually enjoy watching that. Devil's out now. The Devil's not going to be gaining any points on him. Maybe Ruben should do that, give himself engine damage, and just I want to see how he would cut through the grid. Casey's falling off the back here. He's 1.5 seconds off the back of Ento. Is he now struggling for grip as his tyres start dying out a bit? Brian's running second all this race though with a brilliant start down at turn 1. Gained a lot of places. Ento though is going to try and go for 2 moves in 2 laps down at Lake Com. Brian's just going to back out. It seems Ento's got the momentum. Is he going to get the car slowed down enough there? Brian almost going a bit deep into the turn, and Ento just comfortably through. Now SVV 1-2. For the first time Brian's been knocked out of second this race though. He might try and fight back down at Rivage. Casey might just be praying that these two have a nice battle going on. We know Brian is one to have a nice battle. We know Brian is one that won't back out. How many points does P2? P2 gives you 12 points. So far, you're getting 30 points. The maximum amount of points you can get as a team. We all know Brian likes a good race. And Brian's the type of person, well, if a crash is going to happen by an overtake, Brian won't cause it necessarily, but he will be involved. He's a racy person, and oh, sideways down through Puon. That's a big moment there by the Estonian. Big scare there then for KM O'Brien. This is just gonna allow Casey to reel him in a bit. But Casey's gonna be hoping that Brian can stay in contact, stay in touch with Ento, and their nice little group of 4 can continue and keep going, because they can all benefit from that, staying behind each other. A bit of slipstream, nice bit of help, goes a long way. Casey reeling in Brian, he's now got about under a second. Further back, Mr. Osaka's into 6th. Dano, he's within a second of that, as he's 1.3 seconds up on his fastest lap so far, so he is flying right now. As we come down towards Blanchimont, he's got a very good run on Mr. Osaka, tucked into the slipstream of that DBR9. He might fancy himself a move then down at the bus stop if he can carry some momentum. Despite being in the dirty air at Blanchimont. Oh, he goes wide at Blanchimont. That will be him picking up a penalty, I can almost guarantee. Tim 6 seconds off the pace, and Vaslincock is slowly reeling him in with Tim's damage. Dynarod somehow didn't get a penalty. I think he may have slowed down. 21 seconds is the gap between Ento and Ruben. 1.1 seconds is the gap. And Casey, he's fallen off. 2 seconds is the gap between him and Brian. So is Casey struggling now? Fourth would be his best result of the season, and it would match his best result ever. He's had 2 P4s. He got the first ever round at Suzuka, round 1 of season 1, where he bitterly lost P3 on the last lap down at turn 1. It was a last lap overtake. It was quite a historical overtake by Dynarod, and then Casey and Dynarod would then become teammates. So that's quite impressive. Casey finished on track P3 at Le Mans, but Tim got that podium spot, got that 3rd place, as Casey still had 3/10 of his penalty remaining, as track limits that day were not very kind to anyone. Devil says he will never race in the rain again. What happened, Devil? What actually happened? Because we didn't quite catch it. We just missed it. We had just gone to a replay. And as that happens, I see you two go side by side. Casey's reeled in a second. Onto Brian. So Casey knows where to find time, it seems. And maybe Casey can get his head down as we approach the pit window at around about the 30-minute mark. As anyone would be stupid to not really try a one-stop here. I must say, I'd say it'd be quite ridiculous for anyone to try anything different. Ento's on the inside and touched my back. Yeah, we saw you two go inside, side by side down at Stavlo 1. Thought something had happened. To do well in the way, it shows the true. It shows the skill of a true driver, I must say. Being able to race in these conditions and race well. Being quick in these conditions, they're tricky conditions. Have I been quiet, lads, for the first, for God knows how long? My mic has decided to not give any sound. Anyway, I'm back. Sorry if I disappeared. Just had my mum tell me, unless my mum's... Could you guys actually hear me all along? Did my mum just have her sound off on her phone and not even realise, or what? But anyway, as I was saying before, I'd been talking to myself apparently. Casey's just sitting back, I think after what happened down at T1. Or not, sorry, down at Les Combes. Crash in 2 laps for Casey and Brian. I can't see, well, in 2 laps they're going to be pitting. It may actually be in this lap. Who's got more fuel, Casey or Brian? But anyway, as I was saying, Casey saw what happened down at Les Combes when he went 3 wide with, I think it was DJ and Vaslincock. Saw what happened there, and he's just been a bit cautious. He's not wanting to take too many risks. He's just wanting to secure this podium. I feel he probably feels like he's got more grip. He's seemingly driving with more confidence. So that's Brian going into the pits in case he's going to go a bit longer. As a lot of people are, so a lot of people actually managed their fuel a fair bit better than we've seen all weekend. But it's Div 1, just the top class boys. So we expect them to best everyone else. DJ's into the pits on 1 lap of fuel as Casey's just gone and red lighted it here. Now, would it have been wise for Casey to go this extra lap? Or maybe should he have gone and just pitted and been safe to the end? Well, we don't know, we'll find out. Because he may find himself having to do a bit of extra fuel saving as the top 3 then all stay out as everyone else comes into the pits. Brian, Osaka, Noffel, Honk, DJ. Philo, he stays out, and that's a big slide there by him. Remember, he actually pitted earlier as he picked up some damage, so he's done a pit stop. Tim's also pitted. Vaslincock, he pitted a lap early. So it'll be interesting to see what everyone else will come out then. Mr. Osaka, he's completely out of fuel, so he's going to be taking a while. Noffelhonk, how much fuel's he got? Noffelhonk's got a lot of fuel, so he could actually be gaining a lot of places here. Or at least a lot of time onto Dino and Tim. Tim's out. And away he goes. He's not even full tanked it. But he will still come out dead last. Oh no, he's jumped Vaslincock. So something actually happened to Vaslincock, maybe made him pit a lap early. Casey's should be safe to the end here. Or should be safe to the end of this lap at least. But as it's a flat out run, but he should be safe now to the end of the lap. Or he'll come into the pits. 51 seconds is a gap between him and Brian. It's a long gap. But it's a long time he's spending in the pit lane here. In comes Casey then from third. Ruben stays out. Ruben can go another lap, it seems. So Ruben, the master of fuel saving, really showing his worth here. Ento and Casey into the pits. He's even going purple as well. This is the worst his tyres will be. The longest they'll be running for. Brian's coming through Stavro 2, as he's got 51 seconds to make up to Casey in the pits. He's not going to have to make up 50 seconds as Casey's in the pits, but Casey's still not pulled into his pit box either. So it's going to be a long time in the pit lane for him, as Brian and Philo might get the jump in. Remember, Philo might have to pit again though. Now, did the undercut... I know your tyres don't suffer too much, but has the undercut worked out then? Where will Casey come out? When's Casey going to be released? I think Brian's going to go through Casey. He's coming out the pit lane now. It's going to be a close one, but Brian is through. And he's going to have a good few seconds on Casey, so maybe Casey... He did full tank it, so he can run on a higher fuel mode for longer. 2 seconds is the gap, as it's a bit of a squabble going down for, further back. But has Casey then? Should he have pitted a lap earlier? His tyres will now be fresher than Brian's, but they're not going to fall off that much. As Philo as well, he's closing in. But in this final 25 minutes then, who do you guys think will get this third spot? Will Brian get his second ever podium? Or will it be Casey? Or will it even be Philo? Let's not count Philo out of this one either. He's really not far off these. Then again, Casey may have to pit. Oh, sorry, Philo may have to pit again. I can see that being a possibility. Ruben then, the race leader, into the pits. He's got 1 minute 24 gap. He's not going to be full tanking it, by no means. 2.6 seconds. Brian's pulling away from Casey, and Casey will be gutted. And Philo's closing in. Philo will be pitting soon though, so Casey really needs to get his foot down now. He can't be cautious. I mean, if he loses time squabbling with Philo, as Philo has a bit of a moment there at Blanchimont, Casey gets caught up with a guy that's still got another pit stop to do. That could be massive for Brian, and his assault on second there. It's still not out of the question that Brian or Casey can bin it. That possibility is still on the cart. It's still on the table. It's still there. It's not like because they're running in the battle that they won't risk crashing out. But anyway, Casey and Brian running in their best spots so far this season. Their best. I think a lot of people are actually doing quite well. Philo's best is second, and that was in his first ever race last week at the Nürburgring. Ruben's best is first. His worst is first as well, fun fact. Ento's best is second. This is all this season. Dano's best is fifth, I believe. JD's best is third. JD got a podium at Fuji after Santos had a penalty, which dropped them down to fifth. DJ, I think he's had a fourth. He's filling in for Mr. Osaka. DJ's getting quite cozy here. He's doing quite well for MSW. But he's a reserve driver. MSW, first week it was Maggior. it was Mr. Osaka that was out. Then last week, sorry, it was Online Kreutzer that was out. Then Mr. Osaka last week, and this week it's Mr. Osaka out again. Sorry, it's Online Kreutzer out. I'm saying the guys that are actually here. So, DJ making quite an impact, though, I must say. It's being really beneficial to Motorsport West, doing them a massive favour this season. Casey then, half a second or under half second, under 3/10 now. Philo is closing in on Casey. Is he going to be close enough to look for a move? I don't think he will. Casey's also reeling in Brian, so is Brian doing a bit of fuel saving? Remember, he went earlier than Casey, so he will have to, and Philo, this lap, I believe, then, will be into the pits. So if Casey can hold off from him for another lap and not get himself caught up in a battle, then he will have done some good. All he needs to do is get himself latched onto the back of Brian and just stay there. Don't risk a move yet, just be careful, be cautious. Maybe do a bit of fuel saving, pressure Brian into a mistake, pressure Brian into running in a bit of a higher fuel mode, to the point where Brian will then have to maybe pit again, or in the last few laps, stick it in a lot lower fuel mode, in 5th or 6th. Philo, though, very close onto the back of Casey. Philo's going to go side by side, and look at the difference there with the slipstream. Firmly ahead, comfortably ahead into Lecom, and Casey would have no bite back. But it's not to worry, because look at Philo's fuel. Philo will be in again this lap. But Casey... Now, what does he do? Does he... He can't get himself held up too much here on Philo. So does he go for the move and cost himself half a second? Or does he just sit back? Philo, it's quite obvious that Philo does have some pace, and just let Philo close down the gap to Brian, which is actually what Philo's done, and Casey's gonna say thank you as that gap goes down. As Dono's running in 7th now. Tim Vaslincock, he's down in 11th, which is quite unfortunate. I don't know what's happened to him. Philo's going to try to go down the inside of Brian as we go back down at the Fania chicane. Philo making moves with his lighter car. He'll be in this lap, but he's wanting to make sure he can gain as much time as possible. And Philo's even gaining on Ento, so if he didn't have to pit, well, Philo could be onto something here. He's having an absolute flyer as he has a massive snap of oversteer through Stavlo too. Casey's onto the back of Brian. He's within slipstream range, and this is where he wants to be. Can't get himself held up too much. You can see Brian keeps making mistakes. He's struggling for grip, it seems. Going sideways a lot. Casey a lot more comfortable, a lot more planted his setup. He just seems to feel better in this car. Is Philo into the pits? Does he keep going? Philo keeps going. So now this is Philo. He's going to be under pressure from Brian down towards La Source. Brian's going to have it comfortably done, and I think Philo's trying to go a bit longer than he should be, as Brian's going to be comfortably through, as there's a bit of contact there onto the back of the Porsche. I think Philo has gone a lap too late now, as he's having to fuel save now. He's going to have to stop fuel saving. And Casey needs to get himself caught onto the back. It's a good run though from Philo nonetheless. He's right onto the back of Brian. We're going to be seeing them go side by side through Lecom. I think we will. Philo's got the run. He's got himself head down towards Lecom. Is Brian going to try and fight back around the outside? He seems to get on the brakes a bit later. He seems like he's going to go for it. There's a bit of contact. Are they going to hold on nicely though? Philo's sideways. Philo just about holds on, and he's going to come across. Philo's sideways, and he's running to Brian. Philo sideways on through late common. Casey's going to get himself comfortably through down towards Ravage. Casey's going to look for a move on to Brian down through Ravage, and that's a massive moment there by Philo. Really struggling now. She's going to be cursing the fact that he didn't pit. He's going to be cursing the fact that he didn't get some fresh rubber. Casey down the inside through No Name. He's going to have to bail out of it. He doesn't want to hold on to the run. He doesn't want to try risk going side by side through Puon. We've seen what that does. He also knows he's been watching. He's been sitting back. He's been watching Brian struggle on the exit for grip with oversteer. Whilst he's been a lot more planted through the Fanya chicane we come then. Well, Philo completely. Brian, no fault of his own. Philo, it's not intentional. Just really unlucky. Brian, fortunate enough though to hold on to third. But a nice old battle we're gonna have here. Between two. Oh, there we go. There's another mistake there by both Brian and Philo. And you can just see Casey wants this podium. He's so calm and collected as we come down towards Blanchimont. He's not making many risks. He's seeing that these guys are panicking. Brian wants his podium as much as Casey does. The difference is Casey's got none to his name. Brian has won. Philo's going to try go around the outside, but he will have to back off. You don't want to get yourself stuck on the inside. As Philo, will he be into the pits? Yes, he will be. Into the pits, then goes the Brit. And that's another thing that Casey's seeing. DJ as well, he's only 3.7 seconds off for these guys. So DJ's also within a shout if he can get his foot down. Casey's seeing that Brian's making these mistakes. He's getting himself penalties. And we saw the race last year here at Spa decided by a penalty at the final turn. With an absolute epic finish. The battle for the win at the final turn last season. And we're going to see it happen again, not for the win but for the final podium spot, which is nonetheless still amazing. Let's find out. We've got 14 minutes to go. Brian leads Casey then in the battle for third. DJ 2.7 seconds off the road as he's already taken a huge chunk of time out of them in the space of a sector. So, who do you guys think is going to have this? Who do you think is going to win? Sorry, not win. We all know Ruben's going to win. Ruben's gap actually 35 seconds. Tim's going side by side with Mr. Osaka down towards. Oh, that's a big jump by Tim as they go through Lake Com. 10 out of 10 on landing, I must say there, Tim. Absolute skill. Ento, he's 13 seconds up the road between Brian and Casey. Casey all over the back of Brian as they come through the Fanya chicane. And I think, is Casey just waiting for Brian to make a mistake? Is Casey just sitting back saving his tyres? DJ, how's his tyres looking? His tyres are a lot worse off than Casey's. I say a lot. Casey's being patient, he's sitting back. And he's just waiting. Whilst Philo, I think's getting his foot down a bit more. Sorry, DJ's getting his foot down a bit more. And trying to close this gap to third and fourth. Which isn't necessarily a bad idea. Through the bus stop chicane we go. Casey, seemingly better but extremely close to the back, has to be forced out wide. And Ento, he's just going to be ahead. Surely Ento knows that this battle's going on behind. And Ento will just be happy to sit back. Ento can chill as DJ's now within slipstream range of Casey. Casey's got to get his foot down. He's been really cautious. In these conditions you have to be, but you can't be too cautious. or DJ will then have him. Casey needs to now start thinking about when he's going to start putting his foot down a bit more. When's he going to get a bit more aggressive? When's he going to go for these moves? Because he's going to get to a certain point where if he keeps sitting back, these guys will overtake him. And then this will, or if they get into battles, it'll just then allow Brian to pull away. And yes, you don't want to cause an accident, especially in these conditions. You're nervous, there's a chance you can still get your first podium. You're obviously going to be a bit cautious. But is Casey being too cautious? Through P1, Casey goes, it's a wide line, and DJ is going to close onto the back. Is DJ going to fancy himself a move? DJ is a lot worse on fuel than Casey is, as he's going to have to try and go around the long way through the Fania chicane. Casey leads these three on fuel, so maybe he should start using that extra fuel. Maybe he should stop being a bit cautious here. Maybe he should just go for it. He has the fuel if he feels like he has the confidence to get past Brian and then start pulling a gap. Because these guys behind don't necessarily have the fuel to go flat out till the end, whilst Casey does. Through Blanchemont. DJ has that penalty. He's a quarter of a second back. Is he going to look for a move? Is he going for a late move? Casey leads into space. Now that's not what you want to be doing when you're fighting for a podium. He let Casey the room, but there's a mistake by Brian as well. And Casey, is Casey going to necessarily go ahead now? No, Casey had a chance to go for a move. DJ's going to have the inside line as Casey squeezing him as far as possible. And Casey, is he being too cautious now? DJ very close onto the back of Brian. DJ's very shaky. Casey will hold on to fourth. He's also going to have the slipstream, and DJ's going to have to back off. But is that a sign that Casey's being too cautious? Is Casey being too passive? Is he too scared to race? It is a race of attrition. But so far, it's only been minor mistakes by these few. Casey's got a good run on Brian. Is this his time to go for a move? I think he will. He's got the run. We've seen people make plenty of moves hit down at Lake Com. Will he have the power? Brian's going to have the inside line. He's going to go side by side. How late is Casey going to put the brakes on as much as he needs? Brian forces him onto the curb fully. Casey doing a bit of a curb jump there. He will hold on nicely though. Is he going to try and find it on the outside on the exit of the Lake Com section? He's getting all over the curves. There's the first twitch we've seen from Casey all race near enough. Down towards Ravage then. Casey not going for anything yet. Now, Casey, Brian made a massive mistake. He's extremely cautious going into the bus stop. He gives DJ room. DJ's a car length back. DJ shouldn't really be going for that move, but Casey sees it. He lets him. They go side by side. He leaves him the room. Fair enough. But then Brian makes a mistake, and he just doesn't try and capitalise on it. If someone can tell Casey, give the information to Casey, he's got enough fuel to run to the end. Casey, a bit of a switchback, but he's going to send it down to the Fania chicane. There's a bit of contact. Casey into third, though. What a late move, and DJ's now going to try and find his way through on Brian. Brian's going to the inside line. DJ's not giving up on the battle for third. It's a good exit as Brian almost sweeps into him down the inside at Stavlo. Brian sideways drifting. He's going to be able to hold on to it just about. DJ's going to have to try and go around the outside as Brian comes all over him. Brian's going to drop down into fifth as Brian loses 2 places in 2 turns. He just struggles for grip. And now Casey, 1.6 seconds is his gap to DJ. He's going to be opening, but Brian gets onto the back of DJ and could cause them some problems. But Casey, out of these 3, has the most fuel. He can run in top fuel mode until the end. There's going to be 3 laps to go at the line, and Casey now can't let DJ close in and take advantage. Casey's got enough fuel. He doesn't have to save. He doesn't have to be cautious. He can fully run to the end. Or is he banking on Brian trying to make a bit of a comeback? But I think DJ's closer to Casey than Brian is to DJ. Down through La Source we go. It's a bit deep there by DJ. Is Brian going to be close enough to look for a move? No. And DJ does seem to have a lot more speed though in that Aston Martin. As we come up through Les Combes, DJ's made some moves here before up the top of Rouge and Radion. Does he have to run? Does he have the straight line speed in the slipstream as we run down towards Les Combes? I don't think he's going to be close enough. It's going to be a close one. Casey, he's driving cautious. DJ closes right onto the back of Casey through Les Combes. I still think Casey's being a bit too cautious. He's seen people make mistakes ahead, maybe just lacking confidence. But is he still fuel saving? Which, oh, gets all over the curbs. Bit shaky there. Is DJ now putting Casey under a bit of pressure? Casey a bit wide through Ravage. Is Casey hoping Brian can try and get in on this? Well, Brian, I don't think he seems to have the grip here. DJ, he came out of nowhere as well to get in this battle for third. Through Pouon, who's got the call ahead? I don't think either of these have a podium yet. But one of them is the most experienced racer on the grid. The most experienced racer in the league. He's done the most races. Through the Fania chicane. This is where DJ made the move on Brian. Oh, a bit twitchy there. But we'll hold on nicely. Brian 2 seconds back now. Brian's really falling off. He's been running in the podium all race. Other than when he pitted and fell into fourth, he's been in second or third all race. Tim, yes, Tim has gone into the pits too early. Tim's going to be in this lap. Tim is red lighted it, and that will promote Philo into the pits, and Philo's up to an extra pit stop. But that's not what we need to be looking out for. There'll be 2 laps to go at the line, and these two are, neither of them are going to back out here. They both want this podium. Philo, he moved to the inside, moved to the right side briefly there, try and bait Casey into doing something. Who's going to have the better grip? They're both pretty equal, and I think Casey is just praying Brian will get onto the back of him. Casey at 10th off of his personal best lap last lap. As Philo, DJ's going to go for a bit of a late launch down towards La Source. He's going to go a bit deep, and Casey's going to have the nice switch back as DJ's off! DJ sideways into the barrier! DJ completely overcooks it. What's happened here? Down towards La Source, down towards Total. Look how late this move is by DJ. He's over a Carswell's back. Is there contact? There isn't contact. And DJ, he just puts the power on too soon, and he just about misses the barrier, but he falls down to 5th. That was an extremely late launch. That really wasn't an overtaking spot, and just to add insult to injury, that's a half-second slowdown penalty. And Casey now, 2 seconds is the gap between him and Brian. He can breathe a sigh of relief here, can the Brit. Living over in Spain. Well, maybe the caution's gonna pay off. But still a lap and a half to go. Ruben at the front, 43 seconds, leads at a quiet race. Ento, he was in this battle quite early on, but once he got past Brian and Casey, he was pretty much gone from there. And this is just a bit of a classic race it's turning out to be. It's been non-stop battles from start to finish. And Spa in the wet's been amazing. He's pulled off second in the sector onto Brian. So is Brian struggling as, yep, through Pouon. Brian struggling for grip, and DJ may still catch Brian and get back 4th. Oh, the most exciting race in the league's history. Well, yesterday, or it was actually Friday, the conversation of what's my all-time favourite race. Well, I must say, as DJ and Brian, Brian just holds on to it. 3.8 seconds is the gap. If Casey can just hold it together and get the podium, this will 100% be my favourite race. Fight between P7 and P8. No. It's been non-stop battles. There's always been an on-track battle. Philo's into 7th. Tim's dropped down. Tim's just crawling to the line now. As he's low on fuel. 3.7 seconds is the gap. 1.1 seconds is the gap. Brian and DJ may be going out at the end of this lap here. 1 lap to go then for Casey, as he chases his first GTEL podium. He's got a win in an on-stream touring car series, but this is the big one. This is the one that really matters. This is the one where the grid's full and the racing's hot. This is the one that's streamed. This is the poster event. Sunday evenings. The 2 races at the weekend have been a bit lackluster, a bit boring, but the battle for 4th is there's still this on the cards as well. Do not count this out at all. Where's Ruben? Ruben's coming through Puon. Battle's further back. Vaslinkok. If there's a mistake up ahead by anyone, Vaslinkok can still get 9th here. Mr. Osaka, he's also red lighted it. So if these guys run out of fuel, Vaslinkok definitely has a chance here. Tim's surely going to run out of fuel as they go and start their final lap. Ento's coming through Ravage, and Brian is being hunted down by DJ. Oh, this has been an absolute class race, I must say. And it's still not over. The clock will run out. Philo, he's red lighted it. Mr. Osaka's dangerously low on fuel. Vaslinkok's got through on Tim. Vaslinkok's still not red lighted it, and there's still points on the cards here on his comeback drive. But through the bus stop chicane, he's been flawless start to finish. All 18 points will go his way. SVV Ruben masters the conditions, masters the rain. He will win at Spa. It's 11 wins from 11 races here by SVV Ruben. The battle for 4th though, DJ's still close. He's going to look for a move. It's going to be a late move. There's going to be contact. Brian's going to have to hold it around the outsiders. DJ's trying to get a bit of his penalty off. So late move by DJ. He's really got confidence on his brakes in the wet here. He's still going at it. DJ really wants it as he's forcing Brian a bit sideways. He tries to force his way through Stavlo. That's not the nicest. He's been very late on the brakes. He's been very pushy. He's been getting his elbows up. Brian will get back through Stavlo too. Having to get a bit of through there else. DJ wide. Non-stop drama as DJ is wide, and Ento, he will take 2nd. Well done to him. Brian's been forced off the road. 2 turns to go. What can you say about this man? In Division 1, he's scored no points. Round the final turn, he's waited a long time for this. Casey will get 3rd and his first podium in GTEL. Well done you, Casey. Well done, Casey. Brian will take 4th, and DJ, he'll take 5th. Dynarod, he's going to come through for 6th. He's going to see his teammates on the podium, and that will be absolute joy for him. Mr. Osaka dangerously low on fuel, and Tim, he is officially out and he is crawling. Philo will come through on 7th, it seems, and I don't think Mr. Osaka will run out of fuel now. He'll be safe. Ruben, that's a dominant race, but what a classic! Non-stop battles start to finish, and Casey, the most experienced driver on this grid, he's done the most races. He waited 5 rounds to get his first point, and that came in a Div 2 race he was subbing in for. And his first Division 1 podium, he's full-time in Division 1. The first points he scores is also his first podium in GTEL. It was bitterly stolen from him at Suzuka at the last lap. It was stolen by a penalty at Le Mans, but he masters the conditions. The cautious driving, absolute class performance there by Casey. Started 5th, a brilliant qualifying nonetheless, and this is also the first ever race he's improved on his qualifying position. Wherever he qualifies, he always falls back from, but not today. Starts 5th, ends up 3rd, and it is a podium for Casey at Spa. Let's not take anything away from Brian, who got 4th in the end. He led a brilliant race. But Ruben, absolutely dominant again. Class act of the field as always. 11 wins from 11 races here in GTEL. What a race that has been. That is an absolute classic here. Probably the best race we've ever had. Anyway, Ruben wins by end. It's a 1-2 for SVV, and Casey takes his first podium here in GTEL after a long wait. How many races has it been for Casey? It's been 16, 17 races for him. Brian in 4th. It's a brilliant race for him. DJ, he was getting himself into it at the end. Dynarod, he'll take 6th. Philo, he'll take 7th. Mr. Osaka will take the final points. Vaslincock, after a brilliant qualifying, a moment on lap 1 sent him down the field. He'll finish 9th. Seems to be typical his spot, 9th. After a brilliant qualifying, Nofahonk, he'll take 10th on the last lap as Tim ran out of fuel. Congratulations everyone, congratulations Ruben, congratulations Casey especially. I've been Ian, thank you all for watching. Join me next week, 8 PM on Friday, 8 PM British sometime Friday, for round 7 of the GTEL Division 3 Championship.